Basement of La Penta. This is WICR.
Alright, Iona, welcome back, everybody. We're here live again. Last segment of the day. Gonna wrap it up for you guys. But before we wrap it up, we're gonna close everything out with soccer, the sport of soccer, which I've been trying to get into every week. And I know that the two gentlemen sitting in here with me are huge soccer fans. They know most of everything, and they've been teaching me every day. But a little bit of what I know tomorrow is a huge day for soccer, huge slate of games, and I know that G is an Inter fan over there. Napoli fan. And
Antonio, yeah,
I'm the Inter fan.
Antonio's the Inter fan.
Unfortunately, yeah.
There you go. Trying to get the teams right. But, yeah, what do you guys see tomorrow? I know it's a big day in soccer. Anything huge going on?
All right, well, you're fine. Don't worry about the teams and everything. But before we even get into tomorrow, we're just going to give like a quick recap of the weekend's games that went on. I'll just give a quick go around of that, and like you can talk about Inter Antonio if you want when I get to there. And I'll talk about Napoli real quick. So Saturday we had some games that weren't really shocking except for one. Empoli got beat by Cagliari 4-0. That's not really shocking. They're Empoli is a new team in the Serie A, so it's expected for them to struggle. Parma Sassuolo got a huge 3-1 win because they were at the bottom three of the table. Now they have a few points, and hopefully that works to their advantage. The little shock was Sampdoria versus Roma. Sampdoria being home, which is good because they got a draw and they're staying in third place. So with that happening and staying in third place, the draw is perfect for them. And Roma lost another point, so they also helped Juventus, and that means that Juventus is pulling away just a little bit. So that was a shock there. They played very good defense, and they had some chances, but no goals were scored. It was 0-0. Moving into Sunday, we had a huge slate of games. We had Genoa beating Chievo 2-1. Juventus, which I dislike greatly, winning 2-0. They're still in first place. Udinese keeping pace. I just keep shutting down Udinese and Sampdoria. I keep saying they're not going to do anything, and they keep getting results. They won 2-0. Lazio beating Torino. Good win for them, 2-1. Milan tying with Fiorentina. Did a favor to Napoli and Inter, actually, in the standings because they only gained a point. It was a 1-1 draw. And then let's talk about Inter and Napoli real quick. I'll go over Napoli first, and I'll just pass it off to you. So Napoli versus Verona, huge game, 6-2 win for Napoli. This makes me happy in a way because in the first half when we went ahead, we literally let up a goal in the first minute. Alfredson hit a huge goal from outside. It was a really nice goal, but Rafael is just a poor goalkeeper. I don't know what he's doing. He's sleeping everywhere. He comes out too much. He either comes out or doesn't come out at all. And when he does come out, he messes up. He's off his line, and by an outrageous measure. So he's costing a lot of goals, and I'm not going to give it all on him because the defense is just in shambles, literally. We have Koulibaly, who's trying to get used to it. They're in Italy, coming from a Belgian league. And then we have Albiol, who was clutch last year for us. Now he's not doing anything. He's struggling a little bit. Then you have the wings who they keep switching. I don't get why Benitez can't just keep Zuniga in, who's amazing for Colombia and Napoli, but instead he puts in Maggio. And then you have Gulam, but usually you put in Britos, and that really doesn't make sense to me. But we have we had a good lineup the other day, and yeah, we did go down, but we came back and we pulled away. We won 6-2 eventually. Higuain had a hat trick, which is good for him. He had no goals, now he has 3, so good for his confidence. Huge win for them there. And then you had Hamsik with 2 goals and Callejon again. Callejon's leading all scorers in the Serie A with 7 goals, so I'm very proud to say that. But yeah, a good win. And then Inter winning 1-0. Antonio, you can talk about it if you want.
I mean, this game was painful to watch. First of all, they're playing Cesena, who is, they're not world beaters, for lack of a better term. Every game you watch, you just watch them struggle and they play slow. It's just painful to watch. They're one of those teams you can't really figure them out. They're playing against Cesena, like I said, they're not a great team. They go down a man. Their goalkeeper gets a red card. They convert on the penalty with Icardi. Palacio drew that foul. And that's how they win. They won 1-0 off a penalty, and they're down a man. And, they can't get a couple more goals. They can't, make it seem like they want to make progress, develop. Nothing. They're just grinding out these games. They either tie, they win by one, and they're all against bad teams. And you were talking about Sampdoria. They're a great team. I think they're a great team. They're young. They've got a great coach in Mihailovic, who he played for Sampdoria and Inter. And now they got that game tomorrow, Inter Sampdoria at home. That's a game that you cannot lose. Sampdoria is ahead of you in the standings. They've got 16 points. They're only 6 points behind the leader in Juventus. They just beat tied Roma. Sorry, and I just think this is an important game for the season. If Inter loses this game, you can't say you're looking forward to much for the rest of the Serie A season.
Well, I feel your pain with the Inter struggling because Napoli always does the same thing. You have two teams that are good. Look at the players that you have. They're not bad players. You have a lot of Inter has a lot of young kids, Kovacic, Icardi, who have been playing awesome, but then the rest of the team is struggling, and that's how Napoli has. They have Callejon, who plays good. They have Higuain, who when is in form he can play good, Insigne, but then you have everyone else struggling. So I see what you're saying, but let's go over the table real quick. I'll just run down, and we can just look at some matches that are going on tomorrow. As Vinny mentioned, we have a huge slate. But the table right now, Juventus is at the top, 22 points, 3 points clear. So that means they're going to be up there for a little while because they're always going to win or get results. It's inevitable. Roma with 19, they're keeping pace. They're trying to stay behind them. If they didn't lose to Roma, they'd be tied for points right now, probably. And they're at 19, and then you have a two-team tie with third and fourth. You have Udinese and Sampdoria with 16, which, like I said, I keep writing them off and saying they're gonna start downfalling and just going the wrong way, but instead they keep going up there. So you know what? I'm happy for them. Let them go. Those are two teams that usually struggle, but they're keeping up there. They're staying 6 points within Juventus. Then fifth place and sixth place, a tie for Lazio and Milan with 15 points. And then you have our two teams, Napoli and Inter. Napoli 7th place with 14, and Inter and Genoa 8th and 9th with 12. But listen, between 3rd and 9th place, you have those 6-7 teams that are within 4 point of a range. So if one team loses when they play each other, just like you said, if Inter beats Sampdoria tomorrow, Inter is going to be up to 15, and they're going to be right behind Sampdoria. And if Napoli can win against Atalanta tomorrow, Napoli would be with 17, and they can even jump to 3rd place tomorrow. So we don't know what's going to happen. It's just that close of a race between 3 through 8th place. It's just always the first two teams always run off, and then you have a tight table besides that. So, Antonio, what are we looking for tomorrow? Some games.
Tomorrow, we got some good games. Like I said, Inter's playing Sampdoria. Napoli's playing Atalanta in Atalanta.
Yeah,
Napoli will be away for that.
Hard game.
Roma's going to be at home for Cesena, who's coming off this loss. Their goalkeeper, obviously, he got a red card. He's not going to be able to play. They're going to be down to their backup again for that game.
Roma's going to smash them, probably.
Yeah, I think so too. We got Milan at Cagliari, Juventus at Genoa, Chievo Verona, who's on the bottom of the table, at Palermo. And Parma's also at the bottom of the table at Torino. And today we have Empoli and Sassuolo. I believe they're actually underway right now. They're in the second half, 5 minutes in, 50th minute. Empoli leads 1-0 at Sassuolo.
All right, so that's it for the previews for tomorrow. We went over the stuff, so I'll toss it over to Vinny, and then we can do our last segment with the Jets real quick.
Yeah, I think that this is an issue that has to be brought up here because
yes, sir.
Us being 40 miles out of New York City, here at Iona and New Rochelle, and us three in here being Jets fans, the play that's been happening over these past couple weeks now,
it's pathetic.
1-7,
Vinny, at this point, it's not even the play I'm concerned about. Look at this organization. Look at where they're at. Let's go back a few years. We drafted Mark Sanchez with the 5th pick in the draft. We make it to the AFC Championship back-to-back years with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. They go back-to-back championship games. Everything's great. They start giving out contracts. They extended Sanchez. They give Santonio Holmes a $50 million. This is all Mike Tannenbaum, who was the general manager at the time. And they had that 8-8 year in 2012, and we said let's get rid of this general manager. Let's get rid of Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator. Things aren't working. So they go and hire John Idzik. Who let me just set this out there. Who was auditioning? Who was interviewing for this Jets general manager job? If you guys remember, no one wanted to touch this job. No one wanted to work. any general manager in Canada is going to come in. They're going to want to bring in their own head coach.
Yep.
But no, the Jets, they go ahead and they fire the general manager at the time, Tannenbaum. They keep Rex. You got Sanchez, who came off an awful year that year. Dysfunction in the locker room a bit. They're losing weapons. They lost Jericho Cotchery. They lost Braylon Edwards. They lost Braylon Edwards, and that's where it all started to fall apart for me from there. And they hire Isnick, and now look at it, guys.
Now look where we are. We are
bad.
nowhere. Literally.
It's bad. And look at his drafts. We led the league in draft picks this year. We had 12 draft picks. How many of them are putting a uniform on Sunday? Two.
Sheldon, what is it? No.
Calvin Pryor from this year. This year. Calvin Pryor and Jason Morrow.
Yeah.
Calvin Pryor and Jason Morrow.
Yes,
2 out of 12 players from this draft. We led the league with 12 picks. Why don't you go and trade a couple of those picks for proven players?
They let them go.
Exactly. You have 12 picks. There's no way there's room for 12 guys on the roster. You trade those picks. You can sell it. Trade up. Do something. Idzik, they hired this guy from Seattle. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a cap guy. This press conference that he had yesterday.
How about the press conference yesterday?
Oh my gosh, guys! It's being talked about all over the country. It's become a joke. We're the laughing stock of the NFL. We are the laughing stock of the NFL. You got John Idzik. He's a cap guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He clearly, from watching this press conference yesterday, he either has a huge ego, or he just doesn't know what's going on. He just doesn't know what's going on. He has no clue. He's going out there at a press conference to the media, saying how everything's great. We're great coaching. We're trying really hard. You got to be kidding me. We have Rex Ryan, a defensive mastermind. Look at what he did in his first years with the Jets. We have 1 interception on the season. He refused to address our needs, which were wide receiver, cornerback, and, quarterback was not a question really going into the season because we had Gino going into the second year making progress. But I'm sorry, he didn't do anything. He did not do anything. We have a tight end and a safety playing from the draft. That's it.
And look at us now. I mean, we're literally the laughing stock, and we have Mike Francesa, who's not even a Jets fan.
Oh my God!
He's allowed.
I agree with his perspective.
Oh man,
yeah,
I do. I do agree.
Yeah, he said the truth.
I do agree. It's just that he's a Giants fan, and we can't even say anything. We have to let him talk trash to us because there's nothing to say.
Yeah, we have to accept it.
We have to.
Got into the play on the field, guys. First of all, Sunday, the Bills game. The Jets gave up a 90-yard drive in 6 out of the first 7 games. Sunday, they didn't need to do that. You know why? Because the Bills, with the 6 turnovers they had, Gino throwing 3 picks in the first quarter. Don't even get me started on that. Guys, the Bills were playing on a 50-yard football field yesterday. They did not have. I didn't even remember them taking a snap in their own territory.
And Kyle Orton, come on.
Oh my God! They made him look like
God out there. Because don't even tell me he's that great of a quarterback. He is a decent quarterback, but when you're starting the ball at your 50 and 40-yard line on the opposing side's territory, you're gonna score. Because if you can gain 10 yards, you're in field goal range. So there's really nothing to say there. And then we have all these memes on Twitter with Gino and Vic right next to each other showing their jersey numbers, and we're 1-7. And you know what? We have to suck it up now because there's no other way to put it.
Guys, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
And now let's look at the quarterback situation. Vinny, they just named Michael Vick our starter for next week. What do you think?
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
I like to be optimistic in most cases and most scenarios, so hopefully with Michael Vick coming in now, maybe we can get it and make a turnaround here. 1-7. We're halfway through the season. It's been a rough first half. So, I'm an optimistic person. I hope that we can turn it around, but being realistic here, don't see it turning around.
They did that for the locker room.
Yeah,
they can't go back. They cannot go back to Geno Smith. You'll lose the locker room. What does that say to the players? You put a guy in over and over, coddling these quarterbacks. It happened with Sanchez too.
I think Geno Smith, great athlete, great. That's the best way to put him.
Yeah, Vin, he doesn't have the head. He does not have the head.
No,
he looks like a deer in headlights. He doesn't go through his reads. He's got happy feet.
He goes to movies when he's supposed to be at meetings, apparently.
Guys,
so
that's a great point right there. I don't know.
We're talking about it at this point. They're so dumb.
I think me and G touched on that one too.
Yeah, we talked about this a few weeks back because he can have a game where he looks really good. He played good against the Packers and the Broncos, and he had a few decent games this year.
Even last week against New England, he played great.
Yeah, we almost won that game. It wasn't really his fault, but the turnovers are killers, and now we have Michael Vick, and I want to be a little bit more optimistic like Vinny is, and then say, he's going to be a better player, and he put up good numbers when he came in, but he's still turning over the ball. I mean, he rushes a lot, and he gets whacked. I mean, he really gets hit hard, and he has a tendency of fumbling all the time. We've seen it already. they cough it up in the worst positions, and we get to the red zone, and then we don't do anything.
All right. Well, next week, next opponent is on
who's
Sunday.
our next opponent?
We're at Kansas City.
Kansas
we're
City.
at,
There we go.
we're at
The
Kansas
Chiefs.
City.
Okay.
So there you go. Michael Vick's going to be going against Andy Reid, his old coach, who probably knows everything about him. Is going to force 10 turnovers, and then hopefully the entire Jets organization
We'll
just
get
gets
fired.
fired mid-season.
My point
And
exactly.
Woody Johnson brings in someone that knows what the heck they're doing in this league, because this has become a passing league. It's become an offensive league. The Jets don't have a quarterback. They don't have cornerbacks, and they got one wide. I mean, this Percy Harvin. Oh gosh.
And then
guys, there's not even enough time to talk about it all. The Percy Harvin thing, the turnovers, the fact that we're playing a wide receiver as a cornerback to chase down Sammy Watkins, who's a rookie wide receiver going for 3 catches and 157 yards. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, we're
wait
out of
till
time
next year.
anyway. So
Yeah,
that's our little
gosh.
spiel on that. We have to cut it in there.
Yeah, guys. That will do it for today on the VG Sports Hub show. As we said, guest Antonio with us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
No
He was
problem.
great today. And, guys, if you ever guys want to give us feedback on any of this stuff, Jets, soccer, anything, MLB, or give us some predictions or some, or you ever want to come on the show like Antonio today,
Just stop by.
Yeah, stop by. We're in here.
Tuesday, 4 to 5.
4 to 5. Email us on our Iona accounts or just talk to the president of the club, Joe Archino, and, definitely ask us to come on. We're more than welcome to have you guys. So we want to thank you for listening today. I know we have some religious listeners that are listening as we speak. You guys know who you are, and we thank you for that. Also, guys, just don't forget one more time, I want to say it. You're listening to the 3rd annual Halloween Radiothon. Shows will be going on, running through the day and night until 12 midnight tonight. We were so glad to be a part of this. And just drop by the station if you guys want to be on the show at all and interact with any of the shows still going on throughout the night. So that'll do it for tonight. As we said, be prepared. NBA starts tonight. TNT, couple great games. And we got the World Series Game 6 at 8:07 tonight.
Enjoy your Halloween too this Friday, guys.
Absolutely,
Have a good
guys.
one.
Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. All right, guys, that'll do it from here from us. We'll see you guys next week, same time, Tuesday, 4 to 5. Thank you, guys.